right, man.
Okay.
This is conscious or crazy, man. In a sense, knowing what's right and what's wrong versus a mentally unsound mind. You know, con science, man, with knowledge or crazy. I ain't crazy, family. I ain't, the world
No,
is.
indeed.
But
Exactly.
yeah, man, I got family member, man, father figure, man, OG, definitely role model, man. From a distance, doesn't matter. He's still a relative. He's relative from a distance. It's crazy how that works, but it
Yes,
works.
indeed.
And going ahead, man. JF Clay, man, family member. You know, definitely, man. Introduce yourself to the family, man,
Hey,
because you've been on
hey,
this
yes,
platform.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
man.
And we enjoy it each time that we come on. Listen, I'm your host with the most. I am the one, the apostle, the prophet. They call me the cosmic commander. I host a show every Saturday on Facebook called Truth Session. And man, if you hadn't had an opportunity to stop by and sit in, man, you're missing a treat. We touch on a little bit of everything. Listen, it's the place where you come where your thoughts really matter. And you will not be derided. You will not be dehumanized, demonized. You will not be ostracized. But your thoughts will be taken into account because we want to share, because it is a dialogue and not a monologue. But with that being said, I am always happy to be on Conscious or Crazy. This platform is off the chain. And it's awesome what Sid is doing with this, man. I really love it, and I really love to come in and be a part of it. So thank you for having us once again, Sid.
Yeah, you already know, man. Hey, man, for the people, man, because I love the story that you brought up, man. So I guess for the people, man, tell us how you got the one as your title, man, because I love the story,
Yeah,
and then we can start
yeah,
there and we could build.
yeah. Interesting, man. Interesting. What happened was I was running a conference. I was doing a conference in a place called Blytheville, Arkansas, and I'm pretty
Hey,
sure,
that's where my
yeah,
family from. Yeah, it's crazy.
your fa- your family's from Blytheville. Oh
Family from
man.
Blytheville, man.
Oh wow. I was running a 2 week conference in Blytheville, Arkansas. And what happened, it was phenomenal. Um, it was supernatural actually, because what happened was there was a sister that I met at another meeting that I was hosting there. And she said, listen, we really need to get you to town because the people really need to hear what you have to say and really be touched and really be blessed. So I said, okay. So what happened was things start to line up. And you know when you're aligned with the universe, because those things systematically come into order. Um, so I needed a hotel room. Hotel room. There was some Indians from India that owned the hotel there in Blytheville,
Mm.
and not only did they own the hotel, but they owned this building. This building used to be called Body Works, right off Highway 55. I don't know if you recall it, but I'm pretty sure your family members do. But it used to be called Body Work. They owned that building, but what happened was the building was shut down, boarded up, and everything, right? So they not what happened was they put me up for 2 weeks in a hotel room for free. 2 weeks. Not only that, but they gave us the building free for 2 weeks. And what they said, all you have to do is clean the building up and we'll get the electricity turned on and everything for you. Kid you not, they did that for 2 weeks, right? So I'm there running the meeting, running the meeting. So this particular night, we happen to leave the meeting, and they have these large stores, service stations there. They sell this the barbecue wingettes, not barbecue, but hot wingettes, man. They are great. So we left the meeting after that night, and I had two of my other prophets with me, and we were walking up, and it was this Hispanic brother. This Hispanic brother, he was inebriated, and I mean sloppily inebriated, or
Yeah,
we call it this sloppy drunk, right?
yeah,
And, and he looked and seen me. He looked and seen me. He said, "Who are you?" He said, "Who are you?" And I told him who I was. I said, "I'm Prophet Clay." He said, "No, no, no, no." He said, "Who are you?" You know, and I just kept, you know how you just be modest and you just tell him, "Hey, I'm
yeah.
Prophet Clay." But anyway, we was going to the service station, and then it hit him. He sobered up. immediately he asked me the question. He said, "Who are you? Who you are?" He said, he said, "Who are you?" So he followed us in the store. When he followed us in the store, what he did was he looked at the two prophets and he shook the one on my left hand side, shook his hand. He said, "You know, have it." And then he shook the other one on my right hand. He said, "You know, have it." And then when he looked at me, he said, "You the one, you have it. You the one, you the one." And so he left out of the service station, he left out of the store, and man, he went stood in the parking lot, and he kept pointing into the store saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" And he said, "You the one, you the one." But it was real funny. But years later, it came back. You know, that same um, recognition that you are the one because there's something specifically that you're carrying, and we refer to it as that je ne sais quoi. That je ne sais quoi. But at the same time, it was just so much stuff that was happening that particular night because there was a lady that was trying to pass me,
Mhm.
and she kept falling up in a potato chip rack. And I was like,
Yeah,
what is wrong with you? She said, "Every time I try to pass by you, your energy, it won't let me by. I keep falling up." And I mean, she was literally falling up in the chip rack. It was, man, I could tell you so many
yeah,
stories. But anyway, but yes, but let's move on. Thank you, Sid,
yeah.
for that.
That
Yeah, but
energy,
that's how I became, yeah.
that aura, yeah, man. That aura is real. And
Yes, indeed.
yeah, man. So yeah, man. So yeah, man, we're gonna touch on it, man. So man, have you I feel like definitely this environment currently exposed the battle on manhood and masculine energy. Even a function yesterday I was at, you know, I'm break down, but man, what's your viewpoints on the masculine energy with the even like brothers my age and the youth, like in the community, like what are you seeing in the society? Because I feel like it's a shift going on, and you touched on it, you know, age of Aquarius. You've been saying, yeah, the women, you've been hitting at that. So yeah, man, what you
Yes.
feeling about, you know, the state of manhood and all this, the masculine energy right now? You know,
Yeah. When you're looking at the masculine energy, that energy has to have a position in which it could perform from, that it understands its purpose and stay in the parameter of that purpose. And in some regards, we've lost that understanding, understanding, overstanding, surround standing for the purpose of the masculine energy. Um, and the masculine energy had spread it out so that the feminine energy felt violated, felt neglected, didn't feel a part of what was going on. So there was an imbalance. So when you get to, let's say, for example, so when you get to the young Thundercats today, when you start talking about masculine energy, they 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 see that as not being a punk or something, you know, like, man, I got to
yeah,
man up, you know, I got to be the man and everything. But
yeah,
when you get to that masculine energy understands the feminine aspect of itself. It understands that it of itself has a feminine component. And when it embraces that feminine component, there are some things that happen within us. We become chemically balanced. Our chemicals begin to secrete properly. When we are hurting, when we balance ourselves, we secrete the chemical endorphin,
mm,
which is a painkiller. It'll bring relief to our bodies when we work, when we learn to balance with that masculine and that feminine. When we learn to balance it, we're going to secrete chemicals. Um, then when we come into contact with our counterparts, our feminine or our female partners or wives or whoever, then when we bond, we start secreting another chemical, oxytocin.
mm,
uh we start secreting that. That's the love drug, the bonding drug, the drug that causes us to bond and to embrace. And also, not only sexually, but also brotherly, and sisters and brothers. It allows us to embrace and release that energy that creates an environment that's conducive for growth, that is conducive for us to be able to see the development of what we are engaging and in creating. So our creative powers and mechanisms is based upon us bringing the masculine and the feminine into a balanced equation. Once that's balanced, man, it's easy to move forward once you balance those.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, man. I had that like kind of similar, but on the opposite side, of course. I had that same conversation with you know, once again, culture healing podcast, you know, salute to the Queen from Barbados.
Hmm.
You know, yeah, had the same conversation. But of course on the flip side, you know, it's an imbalance on the, you know, the sisterhood. Like she said it. I ain't trying to start nothing, family. But just to claim, yeah, just to claim. Yeah, she said it's an imbalance because it's more like a competition. It's like, and then also then I brought it in. It's like, yeah, like it's all about protection, right? Like us being community, pretty much like you said. Like, yeah, like if a brother, hey Queen, how you doing? Like it shouldn't be offensive, but and then on the flip side, you don't know the trauma that woman went through. So walls naturally
Yeah.
must be put up. You know, even with men, we got to put our walls up with some brothers too, and we
Yeah.
some.
Yes, indeed.
I'm abbreviated because you on here. You know, there's some
Yeah.
HANs out here.
Right. Yes, indeed. You know, I mean, it takes two to tangle.
Exactly.
And of course, yes, and of course, our sisters has been aligned to become agents for our counterparts to do certain things, man, that are detrimental to that brother, that black man. Yes, or to that masculine energy. Yes, of course, that's there. Um, and it has to be dealt with. It has to be brought into balance. Um, yes, our there. Oh man, it's you can get into this, man. It becomes an entanglement, but once you start dealing with it and you see that you can no longer touch a female. Back in the day, man, you could talk to a sister, you can touch her, you know, girl, how you doing? What's up, baby? Fine. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You could be touching around her
Fine like
shoulders or
wine.
whatever. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Might touch her
Yeah.
on the face, but now you do that, it becomes something else. It turns
Yeah.
into something altogether different. And it blows and it gets blown out of proportion because the black man is always seen as this aggressive animal
Yeah.
where you where the easiest way to get a black man into some trouble is to say that he assaulted a woman or he raped a woman or he took some sex. That's the easiest way to demonize and dehumanize him. It
Exactly.
will immediately happen because
Yeah.
you look at what's going on with R. Kelly.
Hmm.
You immediately demonized. I posted something
Hmm.
said about R. Kelly, how that I had missed him, and regardless to what the people say, I love you and I miss you. Someone put on my timeline, they said, I hope karma gets you. I hope you come back as one of those little girls, and then he do to you what he did to them. This is a
Mm.
sister put this. Now, why would you do something like that except you yourself may have been traumatized or violated and you haven't received therapy, you haven't received healing. So
Exactly.
anybody that disagrees with how you feel about that situation, you're going to lash out at them.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I did do. I don't play out online. You know what I'm saying? Said I don't go out and talk crazy to people online. So right. So I went into her inbox and I told her, I said, don't ever send a curse on my timeline again. I
Mm.
said, I rebuke you and I send your curse back to you. And I said, you need to get yourself some healing. So I never heard from
Stop
the
it
person.
there. Yeah, you said curse. People don't understand, man. These
Yes,
words is word spelling.
yes,
These words are powerful,
yes,
man. And even
yes.
similar with me, man. It was a, you know, situation. It's like, yeah, like, hey, man. And once again, I touched on it a little bit, but it's like hurt people that don't want to heal. They stay away from people that's healing. I feel
Right.
real
Yes.
like this is serious because and I also like people and then people that don't have good communication skills will turn everything into an argument. Like that's real.
Yes.
And
Yes. Oh, yes.
yeah,
and,
it's like
and not only that, but what they'll do is they'll exhibit um the spirit of paranoia. They're paranoid, as if someone is trying to do something to them. And the interesting thing about it is, they'll say it is that normally when people are affected or traumatized and they haven't gotten any healing, what they often do is create situations and then become the victim of the situation that they created.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
so
I
so
posted that
which
too. The victim
yeah,
mindset.
you can't win that argument. You just have to wait till a later time to really engage that person, because you can't win that argument, because in their minds they're saying that this really happened. And then also in our studies, we deal with false memory. When you deal with psychology, through study and research, you find out that people will deal with false memories, that never happened to you, it happened to someone else. And so you're taking on their trauma.
Yeah,
And you'll find this often in many cases, that things that people say happened to them really didn't happen to them. And you find that out when you counsel with them and
mhm,
you start talking to them, that it doesn't jive, it doesn't come together,
exactly.
to yeah, to give a true picture. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
Yes,
And
indeed.
I be asking questions, and one sister I was talking to, I felt like you said, I became a counselor. Like, hey, I'm just like, hold on. It's like,
Yes.
I sound like Alan Watts out here. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you're not taking in the information. I can't talk to you no more. You're not even trying to grow on the information I'm giving you. Like, I'm gonna be over here. Like you enjoy those seats. These seats, it's a better view here. These seats are better for me. You keep those
Right.
seats. I was there a couple years ago. I'm gonna chill over here. It's
Right.
like,
Exactly.
yeah, man.
Exactly. Yes, sometimes you have to let people know, man, that horse you trying to ride, I rode it a long time ago, you
Oh
know.
yeah. And you said
Yeah,
you don't talk to people crazy. Hey man, the crazy man. I be with it sometimes, man. People give me some.
yeah,
Hey man, I keep everybody accountable. That's the thing. Like you talk to me a certain
yes,
way, you're accountable for. I ain't gonna be funky
right,
with you. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I keep it a. Yeah,
right.
I don't be
See,
playing, man.
see, see, that's your skill set. See, that's your skill set. See,
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that when that's your skill set. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
For me, I'm not going to engage you,
yeah,
because I'm going to leave you to yourself.
yeah.
See, the greatest thing you can do for an individual is allow them to turn on themselves.
Exactly.
You see, because can't nobody whoop you like you. When
Ooh,
someone doesn't respond to your foolishness, then that it returns back to you. Not only do it return back to you, but it returns back to you with momentum. You
yeah.
see, because it's energy. Those words that you're sending out, they're energy. It's energy. And if I absorb it and take it on, then it has the propensity to short circuit me. And next thing I know, I'm walking around like, yeah, you know, you
Yeah.
know, you know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, you don't even know who you talking to, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man? Boy, I put something on you, I swear you up. You know what I'm saying? I catch me a body. You know
Hey,
how that, you know how that. So
hey, yeah,
because it's in their energy and you taking it on, because in their energy may be murder. Let's say you demonstrate with them and they so angry within them that the spirit of murder, and then they hit you with it and you take it on. The next thing you saying to yourself, man, catch me about it, man. Next nigga
for
say
entry.
something to me, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do something to him. What till the next nigga do something to me, man? I'm gonna do
Man,
something to him.
turn the
You
corner,
know
brother.
how we do?
Turn the
Yeah,
corner, man.
yeah, tell the
I ain't
coach.
playing no more.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
we gonna
Man,
we gonna pop this trunk on you. So
man.
it get crazy, man.
In
So
the
you got to,
breakdown, yeah.
yeah.
Even to
Go ahead. I'm
break
sorry.
down words, you said inner and then G. My inner
Yeah,
gangster. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yes,
Yeah,
sir, man.
man.
It wake that stuff up in you. It with things that you put to rest through your therapy, or through your channeling, or through your prayers, or through your salats, or whatever you're doing, your meditations, the actualization. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing, you don't put to rest your hurt or your disappointments or your setbacks. You put that stuff to rest, right? But then you get to a fool with all of that energy, and that fool around and strike that stuff again, man, and it'll come up and it'll turn up out of there. It'll whoop up out of there, man. You'd be like, where'd that come from, man? I dealt with that. Yeah, but you touched some wrong energy, man. You touched some energy.
Yeah, man.
That woke that stuff up, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
And I was talking to somebody, they said, yeah, I love an outspoken man. Like, is an outspoken man ideally a good one to have a relationship with? Because none of your side is gonna be heard. Like, what are you talking about? You're like an outspoken man. Hey, Tupac was an outspoken man.
Yeah, exactly.
I just leave it there. Love Tupac.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you're asking for. You want a well-balanced man and a well-balanced woman to enter into a relationship, and we call that being mature. It's maturity. Maturity simply means nothing but being balanced at a level where you can cause things to function properly, so that they don't be dysfunctional. We want them to be functional and have the right functionality versus not. So it's give and take. It's push and pull. It's reciprocal. And we don't understand reciprocity because we've really never been taught the value of reciprocity. That if you give, you should be willing to receive or to take. It is an improper measure to give and not receive. Yeah. That's an imbalance. You see, it's very, it's simple, but it's complex. Yeah. Because if you give and you don't take, then there's no balance, because the energy is based off of pushing and pulling. Yeah. So if you only push, then whatever went over there is going to stay over there. You can't come back. So it doesn't produce anything. So what we're finding is that we're unproductive because we're misusing the energy. Mm. And of course, what did we come up? We came up with what? Pay it forward, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Paying it forward is nothing more than reciprocity. Paying it if someone does something for you, do something for someone else. That's paying it forward. That's actually what? Reciprocity. Somebody gave, you took, and you gave. Somebody took, and they gave. You're building a chain of connections to pass along what? Energy, currency. What is currency? A current is energy. That's why we develop currency, because it produces things or create things or cause things to operate properly. So when we get into that particular position to be able to do that, then we have to understand the reciprocity. Reciprocity also is valued and exhibited in our copulation. When we're sexually interacting in intercourse, that's reciprocity. Yep. Because one is pushing and the other is pulling. So what does it do? Yes, it creates what? Energy. What is it creating? Creative energy. Not only is it creating creative energy, but it is going to create manifestation, because that energy, that is the esoteric energy. That energy is ecstasy. Yeah. That energy is chemical. It is chemicals. It is chemicals, and it is energy. That's just brewing. It's just
yeah. It's exactly. It's a spiritual act, and scarce energy exchange. Yes. I break it down. Yeah, man, and we exchange those energy, man. We got to be wise. Who's getting it? Who's giving it to? That's the thing. That sometimes saying accountable thing, saying things like this, and like it's just accountability, and people, and like you said, and I feel every choice has an invoice. So you in a relationship with a low vibrational man, and then it ends like you didn't break down the man you was getting involved with. Like you didn't.
Right.
Hey man, this brother was trash to begin with. Just to simplify words.
Right. Exactly.
This brother was trash to begin with, and now you hate him. Now you really hate him after the relationship was over, and like it's like one-sided. I hate how it becomes one-sided. Oh, he was a big bad monster. Like what happened in the relationship? I always ask questions like what was the line? Something's off. Like
right.
Somebody
Yes,
truth ain't being told.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed. You know, the counseling, we always listen to both sides of the story, and
yeah,
then we find the truth in the middle. The truth is always going to be in the middle
yeah,
because those pendulums going to swing out. Each individual has their side of the story, and their story at some point is going to become confabulated. You know what I'm saying? It's going to become bombastic. It's
yeah,
to get their point across. You see,
yeah.
and
It's like
you know, so
you came in at
yeah,
5 p.m.
yeah,
I
yeah,
came in at 4:55 actually. My watch was on,
right.
my phone was on. I looked at my watch, then I opened the door. It was 4:55.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
5. It was like
Exactly. Exactly. So you have to deal with that element of it. You'll find it in the center.
yeah, man.
Uh, and it'll be easy to pick up too, because here, what how we teach to listen. We teach not only to listen, but listen to hear.
Mhm.
Those they're synonymous. They're not the same.
Yep.
One, yeah, one you're listening, paying attention to it. The other one you're hearing for comprehension. Hearing is for comprehension.
Definitely.
Listening is for paying attention to, but hearing is for comprehension, to comprehend what is actually being said. And you look in the word hear, you see the word ear. Your ear is going to have to be open to be able to catch what's being said.
Yeah,
And so,
two ears and one mouth, you know.
yeah, exactly. You got two of them in one mouth, man.
Yeah,
But
and
but
I
but
used to listen to respond, you know, in relationships,
mhm.
and I definitely you got to listen to comprehend. Yeah, it
Yeah.
can cause problems, fam.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we do also is we're listening to what you're not saying.
Yeah,
See, when you start listening to what a person isn't saying, then it helps to even further develop what is being said even quicker. So, yeah, there are techniques to really dealing with people when you're dealing with them. There's different types of uh, codes,
yeah,
different types of phrases, that are used to see what a person is saying. You feel me?
definitely,
So when you
definitely.
get into all of that, then you really begin to understand the
Yeah,
dynamics and
man.
the semantics,
Have
semantics,
have
different types of things.
the chain of manhood shifted in our society? How you feel about it? The state of man,
Um,
the chain of manhood. You mentioned the currency.
ooh, yeah. For the you, it's 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 kind of it's it's paradoxical. Um,
Man, the million
lack of
dollars
a better
words.
term.
$1 million
Yeah, for
words,
lack of
baby. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not even trying to
It's
trying to
wordsmiths on
use a
Conscious of
big
Crazy,
word.
family. It's wordsmiths
Yeah,
out here. Just letting you
yeah.
know, family. Yeah.
Because for the first time in a first time as me knowing, because I came up in the 60s and 70s, you see young men with money.
Hmm.
And they have boatloads of it too. They don't just have, the pocket change. Man,
Yeah.
these jokers, they
They
stack.
carry they carrying $30. 30
Yeah, exactly.
30,000. 30,000.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Pockets got the mumps.
Yeah. That's
Fat. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's the
Swole.
walkout. That's the walkout out the house money. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
carry 30,000 a day. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So with money, with money comes influence.
Mm.
Doesn't necessarily produce power, but it produces influence.
Ego.
Yes, influence and power, two separate things, but they kind of fit together. But influence is very, very, whew, it does some things to you.
Mm.
So what you see is these young Thundercats out here with all of this money that really have no guidance
Mm.
in terms of how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now we look at Brown Brown. Brown Brown is a role model. Brown Brown, and I really admire that young brother with what he's doing with his finances, the school, and the different types of things, and how he's
Yep.
becoming more
Film too.
of a activist Yeah, how he's becoming more of an activist. But then you can look at those young Thundercats that have come through the NBA that have squandered their earnings, what they earned, uh, and they squandered it because why? They didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And so now, in one session, the master teacher and I, we talked about Lego. You know those Lego building blocks that you
Man,
buy?
I love Legos, man. That was
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Now,
yeah,
yeah, Lego is a Greek word. Lego is a Greek word that actually means to fitly frame and join things together.
yeah.
Well, also the word Lego is the root word in the word logos or logos, which is the written word or a written out plan or schematics.
Yep, play well. Yep. Yeah.
Yes. So, in other words, words fitly framed together creates the right kind of picture to get you to see what is being said. You see, so now, so when you look at these young brothers with all of this money, it appears that we're prospering, but still 1/2 of 1% of the Black community has the wealth, has the money. 1/2 of 1%. So that means that, and that was in the 1700s too. That
Yeah.
1/2 of 1%. Same thing. Uh, so, and here's the thing. I have to say this. Here's the thing, and it's some truth to my mumbling and rambling. When you look at what's currently happening today with money, money has no value.
Mm. Yeah, the dollar is literally dying, family.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
man.
over with.
Yeah.
It's over with for the dollar, right? Which is why they're giving it away. Said I talked about this at least about 20 years ago or so. I told the people, I said, listen to me. I said, there's some things that are come upon the earth, that's coming upon the earth, that they're going to literally be giving stuff away. I said, you watch. I'm telling you, live long enough, you're going to see it. And so look at what they're doing. Stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Nothing but reparations, but reparations too late because they're giving it because it has no value, the circulation of it. So if a loaf of bread, yeah, when you flood the market with money,
Yep.
it creates inflation.
Inflation.
So where a loaf of bread used to be $1.56, a loaf of bread is $4.56 now because it's so much money in the market.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So to add value to something, you have to charge more. So when you see what's happening in the Black community and in the low social wealth economic environments where they're flooding it with all of that monopoly money, that's what I call it, the monopoly money. You just spend it any kind of way that you want to. So it's going to keep on circulating, but it is not bringing any value. You cannot escape the low social economic areas where you've been allocated to. They allocated you to those areas to keep you bound.
Mm.
And what they're going to do is they're going to throw you these bones. They're going to keep on throwing you these bones to keep you there and make you think that everything is a-okay when it really isn't, when everything is still moving and you are digressing.
Yeah.
So it's paradoxical. It's an oxymoron. It's not what it appears to be. So
Illusion.
and exactly,
Just
yes,
like
yes.
time.
And one of
Just
the
like time.
yes, exactly. If your money doesn't have on the civil certificate, uh, then that money is not real. You have the federal whatever it is on the money today.
Yep.
But if you go back and get old money, you're going to see civil certificate on it. It's going to have different heading on it because it was backed by gold. It was backed by silver. It was
Trump said
backed.
that. Trump
Yeah,
said that about this. Hey, back it by gold. Like, hey, what you talking about, Trump?
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
has no value, which is why America did what they did to Muammar Gaddafi, um, because he had, I think, the third largest gold reserve. I think it was. It was either third or second largest gold reserve. Uh, so when everything loses value, what does have value is the gold, is the silver, You see what I'm saying? So you gotta want those other country resources. So, and with that, man, you could talk about what Muammar Gaddafi did, man. So good for the people that it ain't funny, and you're gonna always have haters. Excuse me. You're gonna have outliers. You're gonna have haters. You're gonna have those that want what you have, and if you take it and give it to them, they'll welcome it. And that's what happened in Muammar Gaddafi's situation. And then the country still tore. I mean, they tore it up. And Barack, I don't know how you be proud. I can't. I don't understand that, and I really don't want to get into that, but I don't understand that. And my respect for someone that does something like that is very low.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna run you down, but I'm gonna let you know my respect for you is very low. I don't respect you to a level where I allow you to do that and then it's okay. I allow you to participate in a regime change where you go in and have the king of that country killed or the president of that country killed because you don't like their politics. You
yeah,
don't like how they're doing things. Oh, he said he was going to kill his people, so we're going to kill. What is you talking about? That's that man's country. He's sovereign. What
yeah,
are you talking about? Who gives you the authority to be able to do that?
man,
Who
it's
who are
crazy.
you?
Who are you?
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Who are you? You're definitely not the one.
Oh man,
Because the one would have found a solution. The one would have found a solution, man, for Muammar Gaddafi to be able, man, to rule and reign in his country, man, the way that he did, and then the way that they had him killed. You know, man, a peasant, a scallywag, a
mm,
low life that, you know what I'm saying, individual in the streets kills the king of the king.
that's crazy. Yeah, man.
Okay, I believe that love, man.
Yeah, yeah. To tie it back. Yeah, man.
I believe that
Oh,
love. Bring it back to the young Thundercats.
yeah, man.
Bring
The
that back to the young
guidance.
Thundercats.
You got the
Yes.
guidance, man, and it ties in
Yes.
to the state of fatherhood, man.
Yes.
How do you feel the fatherhood or the brotherhood, like? Because of course, as I mentioned, man, definitely you're you know, just to simplify for people, you're OG, definitely a father figure. Uh, you know, definitely of mine.
Well,
Sure, man, definitely.
man, definitely rearing children today is totally different from when I came up. Um, when we were children and we were coming up, we were we had our grandparents, and grandparents are very important because what grandparents do is they solidify and consolidate
Mm,
the family values. And not only do they do that, but what they do is they set as an example because our grandparents, they repeated the same thing every day over and over and over again. You know, each day they had something different in that day, but they repeated it over and over and over again. It was repetitive. And so that's how we learn, through things being repetitive, things being repeated over and over and over again, because why? We're being what? Programmed. Without programming, then you're like an empty slate. You have no functionality or correct functionality. So we deal with programming. Everything is deals with programming. Most people don't want to believe that, but yes, from the third trimester in a female, when she's carrying the fetus, carrying the baby, the third trimester is when the baby starts to be programmed. Programming starts to actually take place, and that's fact. It actually starts to take place. So now, excuse me. Here's what the people in the United States don't understand is that all other countries count the time that you're in the womb,
mm,
right? So you're going to be in there at least 40 weeks, 9 months. You see what I'm saying? And
yeah,
and then and that you're aging. So however old you are, you add a year to that, it will give you your correct age. You see, so most people really don't understand that. They think that they're the age that when they come out the womb and then grow to a year old, they're a year old. No, you start aging in the womb. But I'm saying this to say that the programming starts then. So once the baby is born, from 0 to 3 years old, and this is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. I talked about this on Black Love Family the other night. But Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, through some studies, showed us that from 0 to 3, everything that is displayed by us, the human man and woman, the black man and woman, is intelligence. From 0 to 3, and what they found out through tests is that we are the smartest children, babies. We walk first, talk first, cry first, sit up first, hold our head up first, roll over first, crawl first. In every category, we do it first and at a much earlier age than other ethnicities, right? So all of that is intelligence. That's how intelligent we are. Now, he says anything after 3 years of age is learned behavior. It is when you start to learn because you start to what? Focus.
Okay.
You start to see things over and over and over again, right? So then from 3 to 7 is programming time, where you program, or from 0 to 7, it's programming, where these programs are being put in you, whether they're religious programs, whether they're cooking programs, whatever they are, they're being downloaded. Just like on the Matrix, when they're downloading and jacking in, and they get that information, those are programs. So where we're actually doing the same thing, we're programming, and we don't understand that.
Yeah.
We don't understand programming. So if you don't understand programming, you don't know how to delete and remove the wrong program and insert the right program, and know how to insert the right program. So when we're dealing with the young people today, the programming has to change. These young people, they are being coddled. They're not being embraced. They're being coddled. If you coddle an individual, the chemical is different. Same chemical, but it's going to give a different response. You see what I'm saying? But if you embrace, embracing gives a different response in the chemical reaction. So this is what we're not understanding. So when we're looking at the young people, they've been coddled. You cannot discipline them. What is happening is that the power had been taken from the parents and given to the children. So now, so now the children wields the power and authority, to the point that they don't listen to the authoritative figures. They don't listen to the municipal people. They don't listen to the judiciary. They don't listen to anyone that has any type of authority.